There is a sacred energy inside of you, a fire that can forge wisdom or be scattered into ash. For men of a certain age, understanding this fire is everything. How you choose to use this gift will define your remaining years. The most powerful way to reclaim your vitality is at the very end. This journey is worth it. Vital energy. What is this impulse that we are exploring together today? Where does it come from? And more importantly, where does it lead us? We must begin by looking at the human being not as a machine, but as a vessel of energy. Think of a candle. When it is first made, it has a certain amount of wax. This wax is its potential to create light and warmth. Once the wax is gone, the candle's purpose is complete. The flame can no longer be sustained. As a young person, the candle is very large. There appears to be an almost endless supply of wax. One can be careless with the flame, letting it flicker wildly, not considering that every moment the flame is lit, the wax is being consumed. As we grow older, as you might be now, you can look at the candle and see that it is shorter. There is less wax remaining than there was before. This is not a cause for sadness, but for wisdom. It is a call to become a better guardian of the flame. This physical expression, this act of self-pleasure, is a powerful release of energy. In our tradition, this is seen as the expenditure of our most fundamental life force, our creative essence. This is the very energy that creates new life, yes, but it is also the energy that fuels our creativity, our mental clarity, our physical vitality, and our spiritual development. It is the root of our power. When you are young, the body recovers quickly from this expenditure. The inner wellspring seems to replenish itself almost overnight. But as the years advance, you have likely noticed that this is no longer the case. The recovery takes longer. The feeling of depletion, of being drained, can last for days. The mind might feel a bit foggy, the body a little weaker. This is the direct feedback your system is giving you. It is telling you that the wellspring is not as deep as it once was, and its waters must be conserved with more intention. Many men in modern society see this act as a simple stress reliever, a trivial habit, or a necessity. It is framed as something purely physical, disconnected from the rest of life. But is anything truly disconnected? Does the way you spend your money not affect your financial health? Does the food you eat not affect your physical health? In the very same way you spend your vital sexual energy has a profound and direct impact on your holistic health, your mind, your body, and your spirit. To see it as a simple isolated act is to miss the larger picture. It is to look at a single thread and fail to see the entire tapestry of your existence. You are not just a body that has urges. You are a conscious being with the capacity to observe these urges, to understand them, and to choose how you respond. This is not about shame or guilt. It is about awareness. It is about waking up to a deeper truth of how your own system operates. Consider the consequences of a lifetime of mindless expenditure. What happens when the well of vital energy is constantly being drained, never allowed to fill? The first thing to suffer is often mental acuity. The clarity of thought becomes clouded. The ability to focus, to concentrate deeply on a single task, diminishes. We might blame this on age, but how much of it is a consequence of a constant, low-level drain on our most precious resource? Then the spirit can begin to feel uninspired. The drive to create, to learn new things, to contribute to the world in a meaningful way may start to fade. It is replaced by a kind of passivity, a feeling of just getting by. The fire that once burned brightly, a fire of ambition and purpose, is reduced to a pile of smoldering embers. This is not an inevitable outcome of aging. It is often the result of not understanding how to properly manage our inner resources. The final insight here is recognizing that your energy is your life. It is not separate from it. Where your energy flows, your life goes. And so, the first step on this path is not to change anything, but simply to observe, to become a scientist of your own experience. The next time this impulse arises within you, do not immediately act and do not immediately suppress. Simply watch it, acknowledge it, see it for what it is, a surge of powerful energy. Ask yourself, where is this coming from? Am I feeling lonely? Am I bored? Am I stressed? Am I just acting out of pure habit, like a machine performing a programmed task? By creating this small space of observation between the impulse and the action, you are taking back your power. You are moving from an unconscious participant to a conscious observer. In this space, wisdom can begin to grow. You are no longer a slave to the urge, but a student of it. This simple act of observation, of becoming present with your own energy, is the most fundamental practice. It is the beginning of reclaiming the mastery over your own inner world, the foundation upon which true, lasting vitality is built. Mindful intention. Once we have begun the practice of observation, the next layer we must understand is intention. The why behind the action is often more important than the action itself. Two people can perform the exact same physical act, but if their inner intention is different, the result and the consequence of that act on their being will be completely different. Imagine one person eats a meal simply to satisfy a craving, to numb a feeling of emptiness. They eat quickly, without thought, just filling a void. Another person eats the same meal with a sense of gratitude, with an awareness that this food will become their body, will give them energy to live, to work, to love. The physical act is the same, eating, but the energetic exchange is worlds apart. One is a mindless consumption, the other is a mindful receiving of nourishment. This same principle applies with absolute precision to the expenditure of our sexual energy. What is the intention behind the act when it occurs? For many, it is an escape. The world is difficult, life can be lonely, there are pressures from work, from family. This act becomes a momentary retreat, a brief escape from the challenges of reality. It provides a quick and reliable peak of pleasure, followed by a valley of release where the mind goes quiet for a few moments. It's a way to numb ourselves. But what happens when we use pleasure as a tool for numbing? We are essentially training our nervous system to seek escape rather than to build resilience. We are teaching ourselves that the only way to deal with discomfort is to run away into a fleeting sensation. This creates a cycle. The more we run, the less capable we become of facing life's challenges. The challenges then seem larger, creating a greater need to escape. You see the pattern? It is a spiral that leads downwards, towards less vitality, less courage, and less engagement with life itself. Contrast this with a different intention. Perhaps the intention is not escape, but a deep feeling of connection, even if it is connection only with oneself. An intention of self-love, of appreciating the body, of a conscious and present exploration. This is already a higher level state of being than mindless habit or escape. However, we must still ask, is this the most skillful use of this potent energy, especially now as the vessel of our life grows more precious? The intention is better, but the outcome is still an expenditure. The well is still being drained. The candle is still being consumed. While the mind might be in a better place during the act, the body must still pay the energetic price afterwards. The mind and body are inextricably linked. A clearer intention can soften the negative impact, but it cannot eliminate it entirely. It is like spending your life savings with a joyful heart instead of a fearful one. The spending might feel better, but the savings are gone all the same. The deepest level of mindful intention comes when we can ask ourselves, what is the highest purpose this energy could serve right now? This is a transformative question. When the impulse arises, instead of seeing it as a singular urge demanding a singular outcome, we can start to see it as raw, creative power. This is the energy that could be channeled into a project you care about. It could become the focus needed to solve a complex problem at work. It could become the emotional warmth you extend to your family, your partner, your friends. It could be the fuel for a new physical discipline, learning to play a musical instrument, writing, painting, or mentoring a younger person. This energy is not just for creating a momentary physical sensation, it is for creating your life. To see it in this light is to fundamentally shift your relationship with it. It is no longer an enemy to be conquered or a master to be obeyed. It becomes your greatest ally, a treasure to be invested wisely for the highest returns. So the practice evolves. We move from just observing the energy to questioning its purpose. Energy has arisen. Why? and what do I choose to create with it? This brings a profound sense of responsibility and authorship over your life. You are no longer simply reacting to your inner world. You are consciously directing it. This shift from reaction to direction is the very essence of self-mastery. It doesn't mean you will be perfect. There will be times you fall back into old patterns. This is part of the process. The key is not to judge yourself, but to gently and consistently bring yourself back to the practice. Each time you consciously choose to redirect your energy, you are strengthening a new neural pathway. You are building a new habit of mind. You are reclaiming territory within your own being, becoming more and more the master of your own house. This is a path of empowerment, not of deprivation. It is the choice to invest in the man you want to become tomorrow. Conscious action. Having observed our energy and clarified our intention, we arrive at the point of action. Or more precisely, conscious action. The world teaches us to act on impulse. If you feel an urge, you satisfy it. If you have a desire, you fulfill it. This is presented as freedom. But is it true freedom? A boat without a rudder is free to be tossed about by every wave and every current. It has no direction of its own. It is a slave to the external forces of the ocean. True freedom is having a rudder and the skill to use it. It is the ability to set a course and hold to it, regardless of the changing waves. Your impulses are the waves. Your consciousness is the rudder. The choice to act or not to act, or to act in a different way, is the skill of using that rudder. Conscious action means you are the one steering the boat, not the waves. Let us explore the act itself from an energetic perspective. The buildup of sexual energy creates a state of tension in the body and mind. There is a fullness, a potential. The organism, by its nature, seeks to release this tension and return to a state of equilibrium. The act of release accomplishes this very quickly and very intensely. It is a massive discharge of bioelectrical energy. In that moment of release, the tension is gone. There is a sense of relief, of peace. But this peace is often short-lived because it is a peace born from emptiness, from depletion. It is the quiet of a treasury that has just been emptied. Compare this to the peace that comes from a different kind of action. For example, the action of deep, focused meditation, or the action of pouring all your focus and energy into a meaningful creative task for an hour. At the end of that period, there is also a sense of peace, a feeling of satisfaction. But this is a peace born from fullness, from right action. It is the quiet of a treasury that has been wisely managed and filled. So, when the energy arises, you stand at a crossroads. One path leads to a momentary, intense peak of pleasure, followed by a longer valley of depletion. The other path requires more initial effort. It requires you to take that built-up energy and consciously channel it. Perhaps you choose to go for a vigorous walk in nature, feeling the energy in your legs, paying attention to your breath. Perhaps you sit down and engage with a problem that requires your full mental focus. Perhaps you do something physically creative, like working in a garden or with wood. You are not suppressing the energy. Suppression is like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. It creates immense internal pressure and will eventually pop up with even more force. This is not suppression, this is transmutation. You are consciously taking the raw material of that energy and transforming it into a different form. You are an alchemist, turning lead into gold. This process of transmutation is a skill, and like any skill, it requires practice. At first, it will feel difficult. The pull of the old habit, the path of least resistance, will be very strong. The mind will create 1,000 justifications for why you should just follow the old pattern. You deserve it. It's just this one time. It will help you relax. This is the mind's addiction to the familiar comfort of the old cycle. Your job as the conscious director of your life is to acknowledge these thoughts without being commanded by them. You can say, I see that thought, I understand that desire, and today I choose a different path. Every single time you make this choice, you weaken the old habit and strengthen the new one. You are literally rewiring your brain and nervous system for mastery, not for slavery. Over time, what was once difficult becomes easier, and eventually, it becomes your new nature. You will start to automatically look for creative and constructive outlets, for your energy. The ultimate conscious action, therefore, is the non-action of release. It is the conscious choice to hold, to contain, to cultivate that energy within your system. You allow it to rise, and instead of expelling it, you let it circulate within you. This is a very advanced practice, but the principle is what matters. By retaining this vital force, you allow it to rise up from the lower energy centers of the body to the higher centers. It can then nourish the heart, giving you greater compassion and emotional stability. It can nourish the mind, giving you unparalleled clarity, creativity, and insight. It can nourish the spirit, leading to a profound and unshakable sense of inner peace and purpose. This is the great secret known by sages and masters for thousands of years. The power is not in the release. The true power is in the retention and transmutation of our most vital creative force. This is the choice you now have before you, a choice between a moment of pleasure and a lifetime of vitality. Energy cultivation. Cultivation is a beautiful word. It brings to mind the image of a farmer, a gardener. A farmer does not create a seed. The seed has its own life, its own potential. The farmer's job is to create the optimal conditions for that seed to grow and flourish. He must prepare the soil, provide water and sunlight, and protect the young plant from weeds and pests. He cultivates. In the same way, you do not create your vital energy. It is a gift you are born with. Your work is to cultivate it. This means creating the conditions within your life, within your body and mind, where this energy is not wasted or scattered, but is preserved, refined, and enabled to grow into something more. It is the art of tending to your own inner garden. So, how do we actively cultivate this energy beyond simply not expending it through the act of release? The first and most critical tool is the breath. The breath and our vital energy are intimately connected. Shallow, unconscious breathing leads to scattered energy and a chaotic mind. Deep, conscious, diaphragmatic breathing has the power to gather, calm, and direct our energy. When you feel that restless, tense energy building up within you, one of the most immediate and effective practices is to stop what you are doing, find a quiet place to sit, and simply breathe. Inhale slowly and deeply, allowing your belly to expand. Feel the breath filling you with clean, calm energy. As you exhale slowly and completely, feel yourself releasing tension, anxiety, and restlessness. Just a few minutes of this practice can completely change your inner state. You are using the breath to soothe the nervous system and reclaim control from the primal impulse. You are providing your inner garden with a gentle, life-giving rain. The next aspect of cultivation is physical movement, but not just any movement. The body can be used to either scatter energy or to gather it. Hectic, stressful, jarring movements can agitate our system. However, slow, mindful, flowing movements, like those found in practices such as Qigong or Tai Chi, are specifically designed to cultivate and circulate life force. When you move in this way, you are consciously directing the energy through all the channels of your body. You are breaking up blockages where the energy has become stuck or stagnant. You are learning to feel the energy as a tangible reality within you. Even something as simple as taking a mindful walk, where you feel your feet on the ground and coordinate your steps with your breath, can be a powerful act of cultivation. The body becomes a tool for managing your inner state, rather than just a vehicle for your urges. You are learning to till the soil of your being. We must also look at what we consume, because what we take in from the outside world directly impacts the quality of our inner energy. This includes the food we eat. Heavy, processed, lifeless foods will create sluggish, heavy energy in the body. They cloud the mind and make the practice of cultivation much more difficult. Light, natural, vibrant foods, on the other hand, create light, clear energy. They support mental clarity and physical vitality. But consumption is not just about food. What information do you consume? What images, what sounds, what media do you allow into your mind? Constant exposure to hypersexualized content, to violence, to negativity, to fear-mongering, All of this agitates the nervous system and stimulates the lower, more primal centers of the brain. It is like planting weeds in your garden. To cultivate a peaceful and strong inner state, you must be a vigilant gatekeeper of your own mind. Choose to consume content that is uplifting, that is inspiring, that is calming, that nourishes your mind and spirit. Finally, cultivation requires a purpose. Why are you tending this garden? What do you hope to grow? As we've discussed, this conserved energy is the fuel for higher pursuits. This is where your passion comes in. What is it that truly makes you feel alive, that engages your highest faculties? It could be your work, a creative hobby, service to others, or your spiritual path. When you have a strong why, a powerful purpose, it becomes much easier to say no to the fleeting distractions. Your purpose acts like a large, strong tree in your garden. It gives you shade and focus. When you dedicate your cultivated energy to this purpose, you will see it flourish in ways you never thought possible. Your creativity will explode, your insights will deepen, your ability to connect with others and contribute meaningfully will be amplified. You are no longer just avoiding a negative, you are actively building a profound positive. This is the true joy of cultivation, watching your inner garden transform into a vibrant, fruitful, and beautiful paradise. Redirecting flow. The concept of redirecting flow is perhaps the most practical element of this entire discussion. It's the what to do in the moment when the wave of impulse feels like it might overwhelm you. It's one thing to understand the philosophy of transmutation and another to have a toolkit ready when the challenge presents itself. Imagine your energy is a river. For years, perhaps decades, that river has flowed in one very specific direction, carving a deep channel in the landscape of your neurology. Now we are asking the river to change its course. At first, the water will want to flow down the old familiar channel. Our job is not to build a dam, that is suppression. Our job is to dig a new, more beneficial channel and gently encourage the river to flow there instead. The first and most immediate tool for redirection is a change in physical state. The impulse is often strongest when you are physically passive, lying in bed, sitting idly in a chair, feeling bored. The mind is unoccupied and the body is still, which allows the energy to pool and build into a powerful urge. The moment you feel this happening, change your state. Immediately stand up. If possible, go outside into the fresh air. If not, even walking into a different room can break the spell. A very powerful technique is to splash cold water on your face and on your wrists. The shock of the cold is a potent pattern interrupt. It brings you instantly into the present moment and shifts the focus of your nervous system away from the inner world of desire and into the outer world of physical sensation. This simple act creates a crucial pause, a space in which you can make a conscious choice. Once you have created that pause with the physical state change, the next step is to engage the mind in a demanding task. The part of the brain that deals with logic, reason, and complex problem solving is different from the part that governs primal urges. You can't easily use both at the same time. So give your brain a job to do. This is not the time for passive entertainment like watching a movie, which can easily lead back to old thought patterns. This is the time for active engagement. Pick up a challenging book, do a puzzle, work on a budget or a plan for the week. Pick up a musical instrument and practice a difficult piece. Study a language. By forcing your mind to focus on a complex, non-emotional task, you are actively pulling the energy, the blood flow, the neural activity away from the limbic system and up into the prefrontal cortex. You are literally moving the river of energy from the old channel to the new one. A third method of redirection involves the heart and our capacity for connection. Often, the urge for physical release is a distorted longing for connection, intimacy, and warmth. It's a desire not to be alone. So instead of seeking a solitary physical release, redirect that longing into genuine, healthy connection. Call a friend you haven't spoken to in a while. Go and have a real conversation with your partner, not about logistics, but about how they are feeling. Write a heartfelt letter or email to a family member. Go and volunteer your time. When you offer your focused, present attention to another human being, you are engaging in a beautiful, energetic exchange. This fulfills the deep human need for connection in a way that is constructive and uplifting. for both you and the other person. This is a very high form of transmutation, turning a personal urge into a shared gift of presence. Do not underestimate the power of physical exertion. When the energy feels overwhelming, it has to go somewhere. Channel it into your body in a powerful and positive way. Go for a run. Do a set of push-ups or squats until you feel the burn. Lift weights. Chop wood. Engage in any form of vigorous exercise that demands your full physical commitment. You are not just distracting yourself. You are taking that raw, potent sexual energy and you are transmuting it directly into physical power and vitality. You will end the session feeling tired, yes, but it is a good tired. It is the satisfying feeling of having used your strength for a purpose, not the depleted feeling of having wasted it. The endorphin release from exercise provides its own feeling of well-being, a much healthier and more sustainable alternative to the release sought through old habits. The river has now flowed into a channel that strengthens its own banks. The key to all these methods is preparation. You must have your redirection tools ready before the urge strikes. Decide beforehand what your go-to actions will be. Put the book on your nightstand. Keep your running shoes by the door. Have the phone number of a friend ready. If you wait until the wave is upon you to decide how you will respond, you will likely be swept away by the force of habit. But if you have already built your new channels, if you have already planned your new route for the river, then when the waters rise, you can act with calm, conscious intention. You can confidently guide the flow of your life force towards a destination that builds you up, rather than one that slowly wears you down. This is the practical art of becoming the master of your inner currents. Inner mastery. We arrive now at the peak of our journey, the principle that holds all the others together, inner mastery. What does it truly mean to be a master of oneself? It does not mean to have no desires, no impulses, no emotions. A master is not a stone. A master is a human being who is fully alive, but is no longer controlled by the chaotic forces within. They have cultivated such a deep sense of awareness that they can watch the storms of emotion and desire pass through them without being swept away. Inner mastery is the state of being where your conscious wise self is sitting firmly on the throne of your inner kingdom, not as a tyrant, but as a benevolent and wise ruler. Think of your mind as a house. For many people, the house is in disarray. The doors and windows are left open. Anyone or anything can wander in and out. Strangers, in the form of stray thoughts, media influences, and sudden urges, are running the place. They tell the owner of the house what to do, what to feel, what to want. The owner, your true self, feels like a guest or even a prisoner in his own home. He is pulled from room to room by these chaotic visitors, with no peace and no control. The practice of controlling the vital energy is the first and most important step in putting your house in order. By deciding not to obey the strongest and most primal urge, you are making a profound statement. You are saying, I am the master of this house, not you. This single act of reclamation sends a ripple effect through your entire being. When you successfully manage this fundamental energy, you will find that managing other, lesser impulses becomes remarkably easier. The discipline you build here becomes a transferable skill. The ability to pause, observe, and redirect the most powerful urge can be applied to your reactions to anger, to your cravings for unhealthy food, to your impulse to speak harshly, to your tendency to procrastinate. It is the master key that unlocks control over all the other doors in your house. Why? Because you have proven to yourself at the most fundamental level that you are not a slave to your programming. You have demonstrated that you have a choice. This creates a deep and abiding confidence in your own willpower and your own consciousness. You start to see all of life's challenges not as insurmountable threats, but as opportunities to practice your mastery. This inner mastery leads to a state of profound equanimity. Equanimity is a calm and stable mind, a state of balance that is not disturbed by the ups and downs of life. It does not mean you do not feel joy or sadness. It means that underneath those passing emotional waves, there is a deep, still ocean of peace. This stillness comes from knowing that you are not your emotions or your urges. You are the awareness that is observing them. When you are no longer constantly expending your vital energy, your nervous system naturally becomes calmer and more stable. The constant background noise of craving and agitation begins to quiet down. In this quiet, you can hear the subtle voice of your own intuition, your own deeper wisdom. You become more sensitive to the truth, both within yourself and in the world around you. Clarity is the natural outcome of a conserved and cultivated energetic system. This journey is not about becoming perfect. It is about becoming conscious. There will be failures. There will be times the old habit reasserts itself. The master is not one who never falls. The master is one who, every time he falls, gets up with even more understanding and compassion for himself. He learns from the fall. He sees what led to it. Perhaps a moment of carelessness, of high stress, of forgetting his practice. He does not beat himself up. He simply acknowledges the lesson and resolves to be more vigilant, more compassionate next time. This is a path of self-love, not of self-punishment. True mastery is gentle. It is firm, yes, but it is also forgiving. You are training yourself like you would a beloved animal, with patience, with consistency, and with kindness. Every step in this direction, no matter how small, is a victory. It is a step towards coming home to yourself, to the quiet, powerful, peaceful master who has been waiting patiently within you all along. Lasting peace. In the end, what are we all searching for? Beyond the fleeting pleasures, the acquisitions, the achievements, what is the state we truly long for? It is a state of lasting peace, a sense of wholeness, a feeling that we are living in alignment with our deepest truth. This is the ultimate promise of this path. It is not about taking something away from you. It is about giving you something infinitely more valuable than what you are letting go of. You are trading a handful of colored glass for a flawless diamond. The glass is the momentary thrill of release. The diamond is the unshakable, luminous peace that comes from a life of purpose and self-mastery. The world will tell you that to feel good, you must constantly seek things from the outside, more stimulation, more entertainment, more pleasure. This path teaches the opposite. It teaches that the deepest and most enduring source of well-being is found within. By conserving and cultivating your most precious energy, you are building an inner reservoir of vitality, clarity, and peace. This reservoir becomes your refuge. When the storms of the world rage, you have a quiet, safe place to return to within yourself. You are no longer dependent on external conditions for your happiness. You are generating your own. This is the definition of true freedom and true security. You become a source of strength not only for yourself, but for everyone around you. Your calmness becomes a gift to others. This is not a path of denial, but a path of a higher affirmation. You are not saying no to pleasure. You are saying yes to a deeper, more profound form of joy. You are saying yes to mental clarity. You are saying yes to emotional stability. You are saying yes to a vibrant physical body, strong and resilient into your later years. You are saying yes to having the creative energy to build a legacy, to share your wisdom, to finish the work that you were put on this earth to do. The choice becomes very clear when you see it this way. It is a choice between a life that is slowly drained away by mindless habit and a life that becomes more potent, more meaningful, and more joyful with each passing year. The energy that you cultivate is your life. It is the very substance of your consciousness, your creativity, and your spirit. To treat it with reverence, to protect it, to invest it wisely, this is the greatest act of self-love and self-respect you can possibly engage in. It is the recognition that you are a vessel for something sacred. As you walk this path, you will find that you are not losing anything of value. You are simply clearing away the debris so that your own inner light, the light of your true, powerful, peaceful self, can finally shine forth in all its brilliance. I'm 62. For the last 10 years, I felt a slow decline in my energy and my sharpness. I blamed it on age. After watching this, I feel like a switch has been flipped in my soul. The idea that this isn't about shame, but about reinvesting my energy into my own life and my projects. It's the most empowering thing I've heard in years. It's not about stopping something, it's about starting something more meaningful. Thank you, truly. I'm starting today.